I'm Corbett Wall with DV Auction, here with your feeder flash for Thursday, November the 16th, brought to you in part by Safeguard. You think your pour-on and injectable dewormers are working? Independent National Database points towards no. Ask your Merck representative to share the advantages of Safeguard. Easy come, easy go. That's the way the market goes. You remember when we were going up on this rally we had for the last couple months that we were just getting market in bunches, with just gaining position in bunches, you know, several dollars at a time, and it just seemed so easy. Everything was just falling in the cattle feeders' lap, and at times they were getting more than they originally asked for the cattle. Well, it's going away just that fast. Look at the board on Wednesday. February live cattle up 60 cents to end the day at 125.75. December spot live cattle up 70 cents at 120.20. January feeder cattle down 35 cents at 154.25. Look at your fat trade. It actually started late in the day on Tuesday. They had 13,700 head turned in on mandatory price reporting for Tuesday out of the 5-area feeding region. And that's pretty good trade because nobody through business hours had any inkling that they were going to be trading. And you remember we talked yesterday that 120 would be a huge victory. Well, the trading started out at a $1.19 in the Southern Plains and stayed there for them. Pretty much all of Texas and Kansas feedlot areas had to surrender at 119. That's a full $5 lower than last week. You remember they sold at 124. And you remember last week the Northern Plains was not able to hold that 124, but this week they were able to hold their market together better than the Southern Plains. They sold cattle from 119 to 120.5, and not nearly as much at 119. Especially in your western areas, western Nebraska, getting out into Colorado, Wyoming, those places that when we started that rally here the last time they were running a few dollars ahead. Well, it seems like they've regained that. They sold most of their cattle in the western Nebraska area and out that way for 120.5. But if you look at the trend on that, it's $3 to $3.50 lower, not nearly as bad as the Southern Plains. And they sold their dress sales from 188 to 190, which would be $2 to $4 lower. Now we've got another cattle on feed report coming out. Seems like we haven't seen nearly as much of the prognosticators' guesses out there so far this week, through the middle of the week anyway. It'll be out there glaringly by the end of the week, but hopefully they will adjust that where they guess high enough that we can have either a neutral or maybe a slightly bullish cattle on feed report. But the October placement figure, if you just look at nationwide auction receipts during the month of October, shows to be about 115%. We marketed a lot of cattle and moved a lot of cattle last month, and the majority of those are going to be put on feed in a major feeding facility. So we'll see what they come out to guess is on the analyst guess, but we hopefully it won't be a big shake-up because we've already looking kind of tough at where we're at now. We can't seem to find a bottom to this thing. Your cash feeder cattle markets have been a lot lower this week. You look at a big market on Wednesday, OKC West in El Reno, Oklahoma, on heavy receipts of 14,500 head, counting the Tuesday calf sale and the Wednesday feeders, but they are going to be closed all of next week due to Thanksgiving. Now most high volume sales won't be closed entirely. A lot of them are on a Monday. We'll probably go ahead and have a sale, but OKC West there is not going to have Tuesday or Wednesday sales there, and so they'll be shut down, and that probably added to their receipts, and then they'll have big receipts again the week after. But on Wednesday, feeder cattle $3 to $6 lower, and that looked like a pretty conservative call to me. I think it could have been called even more than that. And then they did note that some heavyweight feeders were as much as $9 lower. That's a lot of money on a big feeder like that, you know. That could be more than 50, 60, 70 bucks. you know, maybe more than that a head. And that's a big hit from some guys that were sitting on those cattle last week and just 1 week away lose that much ground. But they noted that there was good demand for the featherweight calves on Tuesday. The weaned featherweight calves were $2 to $4 higher. But they said in the market report for Tuesday's sale, the calf sale, that the heavy calves sure had a lower undertone. Really? I think I showed you that market report, the automated report on Beef Market Central there on yesterday's visit, and it looked like those big calves were at least a foot lower. And nothing to be embarrassed about. The big calves are that much lower everywhere, so why sugarcoat it? They were a bunch lower. I did say that they had a lot of those Oklahoma Quality Beef Network calves the week before, and that maybe added to the big trend because you didn't have those kind of cattle this past week. But still, huge losses on big calves, and it's everywhere, guys. But your real-time index on Beef Market Central late in the day on Wednesday set at 155.39, down 266. Winter livestock in Dodge City, around 3,000 head there, calling their market week to $6 lower. I mean, we're just losing it in bundles. But you look at some individual quotes. OKC West and El Reno, a good test of the market late in the afternoon there in El Reno, had 200 head of steers, weighed 783 at 150 1/4. That's what the market is, guys. Look at some big cattle, big hard cattle out west. In Torrington, Wyoming, Wednesday morning had 55 head of steers, weighed 9 1/4 at 159.75. That's your feeder flash for Thursday.